Hey, dear ones, it is so good to be with you on July the 4th. Happy Independence Day. It is a privilege and an honor to live in this great country. I'm very, very proud to be an American, and I'm very, very grateful for my freedom in this great country and for the forefathers that planned our country and that outlined the Constitution with such wisdom and insight that could have only come from God. So I'm very, very grateful today to be an American. And I'm just sitting here looking, and I wore black. I should have worn something patriotic. I didn't even think about it. I just pulled something from the closet, and I didn't even think about it until I sat down and said, oh, this is July 4th. Wow. So enjoy your celebration of our country's birth with your family and friends. Maybe you're having a hot dog or a hamburger on the grill. I don't know. That's probably what we're going to do. But thank God that you are in the country that you are in. So I put a worship song, by the way, down at the bottom as the deer panteth. I may have put that another time before. How could you not think of that song when you read the psalm? Because, of course, this psalm is 42 is the basis of that's the praise song as the deer panteth. So even if you're not seeing this on the 4th, whatever day you are having a chance to read and to catch up on the teaching for today, I hope that you enjoy that worship song. Maybe you're not even familiar with it. But I pray that it blesses you. J.P. Lang is a Bible commentator that I don't know about. His quote that I used, homesickness of the soul, was tucked in a Spurgeon quote. And I put a Spurgeon quote today because you know how much I love him. But this is how he described the psalm, is a homesickness of the soul. This is a psalm of the sons or descendants of Korah, sons of Korah. Just a quick review for those of you that maybe are just hopping in right now and don't even know who the sons of Korah are. This Korah was a Levite. Levites were assigned to minister to the people, God's people in the temple. They were chosen for that job and bestowed that privilege because they sided with Moses when he came down and they had the debacle with the golden calf, and Moses laid down the law, whose side you're going to be on, basically. I'm paraphrasing. And the Levites said, I'm on this side. And so the Lord blessed them, the Levites. And out of the Levites came Korah and his sons. But Korah, over in number 16, got a little high on his horse and led a rebellion against Moses in the desert. That did not work out for him at all. God did not look kindly on Korah and the leaders that were with him, and they died. Go back and look at number 16 if you're interested in that. But his sons remained, and perhaps out of great gratitude for the mercy that God gave them by sparing them, because God could have wiped out his whole family, and we've seen that in biblical history where God's upset with somebody and he just wipes out their whole family. They accepted the position of musical leadership in the temple. So you will see lots of psalms and songs written by the sons of Korah. But it's this one in particular I thirst for God, the living God. Where can I go and stand before him? You know, I don't, I try very hard, consciously, Linda and I do, while we're putting videos, teachings together, to not speak of current events. We want our teachings to be a timeless teaching that can be picked up at any time. 4 or 5 years down the road, you might come back and hear a teaching on July 4th, 2020 that ministers to your heart. And we try to keep it streamlined just to the teaching. But I'm going to just veer off that just a little bit because I feel like I need to. This psalm is just echoing in the canyon of my heart right now. Homesickness of the soul. Just think about that. Spurgeon said this: ease he did not seek, honor he did not covet, but the enjoyment of communion with God was an urgent need for his soul. He viewed it not merely as the sweetest of all luxuries, but an absolute necessity, like water to a stag. Gosh, he can certainly pen some words, can't he? And I know that he's speaking specifically about communion with God. And I know that we can have communion with God anywhere, anytime. We don't have to be in the house of God. But homesick is how my soul feels right now. I don't know if your soul feels that way, but mine does. Can I just say, with no disrespect to anybody from my church, because I love my church, but I'm tired of having church on my couch. I'm ready to get back in the fellowship with my people, with God's people, in his house. I'm homesick. My soul is homesick. And I got to thinking, wow, what if somebody doesn't even know they're homesick? What if someone doesn't even know that their soul is thirsty? What if someone has been away from the water from the living well for so long that they don't even recognize that? Oh, that would not be the case. We need to ask ourselves where in these days, especially in these days, we're worshiping on our couch or out on our porch is wearing us weary. Are we going somewhere else to quench our spiritual thirst? Do I recognize that this thirst that I have is even a spiritual matter? Sometimes we don't even recognize it's a spiritual matter, whether it's during COVID-19 or whether it's something else. We go to all these other watering holes, the world's watering holes, these wrong watering holes to fill this thirst that we have. Maybe we go on a shopping spree. It's so dangerous now. Swipe to purchase, swipe to purchase, swipe to purchase, swipe to purchase on Amazon. We have our credit card information stored on all of these sites that we can just go to and purchase or view things that aren't healthy for us to see. And they're only going to feel a fleshly need. They're not going to feel a spiritual need. And we can't miss something we've never experienced. So I pray that you have a spiritual thirst, that you know what that's all about. I've put some verses here just because that's what I do. I like verses that support Scripture, supporting Scripture. That's how I like to teach. Just about our thirst and whom, Psalm 73, whom and I had in heaven but you, and besides you I desire nothing on earth. Let that be our prayer today. Jesus said that he's the bread of life, and when you come to me, you will not be hungry, and if you believe in me, you will never be thirsty. And Jesus also said, now on the last day, the great day of the feast, Jesus said, if anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Stay in close communion with God right now during this pandemic that we're in our country. And if you happen to be viewing this in a year that the pandemic's passed and we lived through it, which we are going to, keep communion with God. Don't let your soul be homesick. Stay in communion with God on a personal level, but also stay in communion with God in a people level, in fellowship at a Bible teaching, Bible believing, Bible claiming church. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.